Hi everyone, I hope you're all doing well, and today we're going to do a video talk about S4 Capital, which in my opinion is the best UK growth stock out there right now. Now this is probably a video that I should have done. I've been talking about this company on free UK stocks to buy quite often, but this is a company or a stock that's never got its own video on my channel, and I know a few of you guys have asked me to do it, and we finally got around to giving it its own video. So yeah, and I'm going to say right now it's probably the worst time to do it actually, because funny enough I finally get around to making a video about S4 Capital, and it is earnings coming up this week. So yeah, I mean, just keep an eye out for that, because earnings could potentially move the stock, maybe change some of the information that I do put in this video. But hey, I'm sure whatever is in earnings, it's all only positive news really for the long term for this company. So yeah, we're going to make a video today talk about S4 Capital. It is now my biggest holding in my UK portfolio, so you can tell I do really like this company, and yeah, we'll go into a little bit more detail about this one today. So if you could smash the like button, if you are new, make sure to subscribe as well, that'd be absolutely amazing, and we'll take a look. So if you do want to know when I'm buying and selling companies, make sure you join my Patreon. The link is in the description. So I post when I'm always buying shares in S4 Capital, for example. There's also portfolio reviews there, and some private live streams. And also, if you do want to start buying some shares in S4 Capital, there's a link to a free trade account. Open up an account through that link and you also get a free share as well. So just looking at the stock price right now, it's currently £4.50. Well, it's actually a bit more than that. This is a Friday glitch that happened on the I think it's in a few people in the Discord a little bit panicky, because everyone's like, hold on, why is the stock gone up 3 or 4% today, and then bang, it's just closed down. That was just a bit of a Google glitch actually happening. So actually it's £4.79 at the moment. So yeah, shout out to Google there for glitching out. But yeah, it's £4.79. It's currently a 2.4 billion market cap company, and I do think that in the long term this is going to be about a 10 billion company. So I do think this has probably got about another 4x really upside from here in the coming few years. Now this stock has been on a bit of a run, but the good thing is it has been consolidating a little bit for the last couple of months. So obviously, a bad thing is, the more the stocks don't go up in a straight line, the more they go up, that's a bit worrying. Eventually, if they just keep going up in a straight line, eventually they'll snap back pretty big. So yeah, just have a bit of a cooling phase here for S4 Capital is a positive. And in fact, the stock is actually down on a bit of a 10-15% dip. So it's a very attractive time to be looking to buy the company maybe. So the ticker symbol is SFOR, and if you don't know, this is basically a marketing company, a digital only marketing company. And I think the best place to start really with this company is the management, because the management is pretty impressive. So if you don't know, Martin Sorrell is the CEO up at S4 Capital. Now, if you don't know what Martin Sorrell has done previously, he was basically the founder of WPP, which is currently the world's largest advertising group. Now, I think when Martin Sorrell actually left this company, it was a $16 billion company. So obviously he took a company from scratch up to the biggest company in its area, $16 billion company. And then there was a few issues, and then he went and left WPP. And then in 2018, he went and set up S4 Capital, and he made a few changes from when he was at WPP. So obviously going into digital only, which obviously is the quicker growing industry at the moment in marketing. And as well, you've got to remember is, like we showed a second ago, the S4 Capital is now a 2.5 billion or 2.4 billion market cap company. And Martin Sorrell has done this since 2018. 3 years, 2 years, I guess, not too long, and he's made a multi-billion company in 2 years, which just shows how good he is in this sort of industry. Now, a few people do say, look, Martin Sorrell is 76, but I think he's still, when you listen to him at interviews, he's pretty impressive. Clearly he knows what he's still doing, because he's just, in 2 years made a multi-billion dollar company. And he's very successful in this industry. The difference between when he was at WPP, where it was, still using the classic ways of marketing, he knows that he needs to focus on digital marketing. And I don't think I think he's got a personal thing here where he's going to be like, I want S4 Capital to be bigger than WPP and do it all over again. I think he kind of lives for that. So I think that's one thing you got to remember. Even though you might say his age is against him, from what I can see, you only have to look at Warren Buffett. He's still a master in his industry, and I think he won't quit until he does get S4 Capital to overtake WPP, which I think it will do by the end of the decade. So like I say, S4 Capital was made in 2018, and one of the first things that S4 Capital did was buy a company called Media Monks for 350 million. What they tend to do, you'll see this a lot there, is going to be the most purchases that you'll ever see of companies going on with S4 Capital. They are heavy at acquiring other companies. So the first one was Media Monks, which was, like I said, in 2018 for 350 million. What they tend to do is do a lot of share issuing and then pay like half of them in like cash. So that was the first one that happened. And then in December 2018, they went on to go purchase Mighty Hive for 150 million. And then in June 2018, S4 acquired Melbourne company BizTech. And then in October 2019, Mighty Hive announced that it was going to buy Conversion Works. And a lot of these, what the plan really is here is Martin Sorrell wanting to get some of his best employees from WPP, and also he wanted to take a lot of contracts. So when he was buying out these companies, he was taking on advertising for like Boots, Diageo, giffgaff. There was loads of companies, like he was basically taking on their work. And also, as well as that, it led them to bigger revenue growth and also expanding worldwide very quickly. Now, if we go on the recent news, you can see here, once again, there's been a very active acquiring companies. So Mighty Hive also absorbed Datalicious, and also, and that was on the 1st of February. And then also on the 20th of January, Stadio Studios merged with Media Monks once again. So once again, they're expanding where the countries that they're operating in, the amount of clients that they're going to be working with, very heavy aggression on acquiring companies. Now, if we dig into the recent financial quarter for Q3 2020, and like I say, the next quarter is only this week, so we'll get a little bit of an update and it should be pretty decent. But the financial performance on the recent quarter, and this is, the stock hasn't done anything since it released these actual Q3s, and they're just absolutely amazing. Q3 reported revenue up 53%, gross profit up 79%, like-for-like revenue up 13%, like-for-like profit up 23%. All regions showed strong growth. Yeah, it was just absolutely amazing quarter from these guys. Now, because S4 Capital are very aggressive on acquiring companies, this has meant that the amount of revenue they're getting across worldwide now has increased absolutely huge. So we look here, you'll see here gross profit by geography, America's 93% growth, and you'll see Asian Pacific growing at a huge rate of 83%. Now, because Martin Sorrell made the decision to go to digital only, which is a great decision to make, because this is what's going to get the most revenue really coming in going forward, because people realise digital advertising is the most efficient way going forward. You can see here the growth that it has had compared to like analog advertising. So yeah, you can see that it makes a massive difference. And this graph is even bigger because you can see here the online amount of growth compared to like TV, other and print, and the massive increase. And going forward as well, it's going to be absolutely huge. And I think realistically as well is like over the last kind of few months, when you look at what's happened, the big sales channels has gone from TV and print and everything to online. Companies have had to do more and more online sales the last few months, and that means that the advertising, when it has come back, has been pushed to more online growth. And I think this will only have now go at an even quicker rate than what it was shown here. Now, one of the big deals that was announced was this, what they call, S4 Capital call a Whopper, which is they have signed, because of the expansion that they've had worldwide, is that they can take on so many more contracts. And one of the ones that they did take on was the advertising now for BMW and Mini. So yeah, and they're only going to use S4 Capital, which is a big statement. So these are the sort of the big deals that they're taking on at the moment. And this is what happened. You see the launch, we launched Media Monks in Germany. Because of the launch in Germany, they secured this big, what they call Whopper deal, BMW, Mini, and yeah, that's only going to help them. And this is why they're acquiring a lot of these companies, so they can operate in these countries a lot more than what they were doing previously. Now, this is the digital media spend, and you can see here, when COVID happened, lots of companies got hurt. One of the first things was, stop hiring people and also start cutting, your marketing budgets. But what we have seen is the rebound that's started to happen now for digital media, and that's increased, because so many people have realised the only income stream we're really getting now, or companies have realised, was from the online side of it. So they thought, well, we'll ramp up our digital media side. And I think over the next, this will only speed things up and help them going forward as you see the recovery happening, and you see now companies that will prioritise online marketing more and more. So I think, sure, it hurt S4 Capital in the short term, but we can see the recovery happening. And look at the jump, for example, from August to September. I think like the digital media side of the budgets will just get increased. So I think this will really benefit S4 Capital in the next few months as well. Now, if you look at these Q3 here, a strong quarter for new business. you can see the new contracts that S4 Capital had landed, and there's some massive names in here. You know, you know it's a really good company when you got these sort of clients coming to use you as your digital marketing company. You know, Beyond Meats, you know, we just talked about BMW a few minutes ago, Shopify, T-Mobile, you know, really big companies that are, you know, got with the marketing budgets coming to S4 Capital. And another thing is, a sign of a really good company is when the companies that are advertising with you then go and expand their contracts. And you look at some of the names here, you know, PayPal, Uber, Amazon, Google, Netflix, Facebook. These are massive companies, you know, they'll know if something's working or not working for them, because these guys, some of these are the digital kings, really. And yeah, I think this is a really good sign when you look at the companies that are coming to them and the companies that are expanding using them. Really positive signs. And you can see here a current client portfolio, and you can see a lot of them are tech based, but definitely still a good mix going on right there. So we're going to pop onto the Simply Wall Street page now and just flick through a few financials, and you can see here, I don't normally do this, but normally Simply Wall Street is the worst for like valuations on growth stocks. But even these guys have it as valued at nearly a £10 stock. Personally, in my opinion, I see S4 Capital, you know, easily being a £10 company in the next few years. But in the long term, I see this being a 10 billion company being valued at like £20. So yeah, I think that it will get to this point, and I think it would get even higher, to be honest with you. But I think it's just funny. It shows you like how good of a company this is that even Simply Wall Street for a growth stock is saying that it's undervalued. And when we go on the future growth, you can see the revenue is just growing at a huge rate, like 50% revenue growth. Is in and out profitability. It could come profitable this year, depending on the when it keeps acquiring a lot of these companies. Then obviously some costs might come in that might not make it profitable. We'll see what happens. Not too fussed on that. That will come in the next few years. You know, it's not losing major money anyway. But revenue growth is absolutely insane. And this is the thing. The valuation is just so cheap. Like, for a company that's growing 50% on the UK, you know, there's not many companies that we get, like $1 billion companies in the UK growing at like 50% revenue growth to start with. So that's, you know, something that really stands out. But the thing as well is like, the valuation is like a 4 price sales ratio, which is insanely cheap for a growth company like this. You know, I think I was looking at Palantir on the weekend, and I think their price sales ratio is something like 80 or something. And it's not growing as quick as these guys, you know, and you got like a company there that's an 80 price sales ratio, not growing as quick as these guys. And then you got here S4 Capital growing faster than them, and like such a miles cheaper valuation. Like, it's just so insanely cheap, especially for a UK growth company. We don't have many, and to be valued so cheaply is just really impressive. And yeah, when we look at the balance sheet as well, you know, they've been acquiring a lot of companies, so you would think it won't have an amazing balance sheet, but it's still pretty good. 14% debt to equity. The cash still holds a decent amount of cash at 85 million, debt 77 million, which is still pretty decent. When we look on the board member side of it, there's a lot of insiders still buying, which is really positive. And with the biggest stakeholder, Martin Sorrell, and you can see here 10% stake in the company, which is really positive, because then you know it's in his best interest as well for this company to do really well. I think we already knew that from what we said earlier, but once again, you can see, like, you know, it does really matter to him. I think it's also important to say, look, the third biggest shareholder, S4 Capital employee stock ownership plan as well. And yeah, there's a few other people in the company that are owning decent amounts of shares. And like I say, also you got insiders buying as well, which is also a positive sign. So overall, I think you can see here, you know, the management side of it is amazing, great history, and doing amazing things with this company to say it's only like 2 or 3 years old. I think when you look at the amount of contracts they're taking in, obviously positive, the contracts that they're expanding, and also how heavy this is at acquiring companies. You know, that's only going to help it expand worldwide, helping with the amount of contracts it's taking on. And yeah, and I think you can just see the clear plan that it has. It's, you know, such a great UK company that we don't have many of these guys on the UK stock market, you know, mainly on the US side of it. And I think when you look at everything it has going for it, I think it's, you know, an easy buy, at least for a small position in the portfolio. But yeah, for sure, in my opinion, the best UK growth stock out there for sure. So thank you so much for watching the video. If you are new, subscribe, and if you guys watch all the time, you guys smash the like button as well. That'd be absolutely amazing. We'll see where earnings take it in the next few days anyway, but I hope you enjoyed it. It's about time we had an S4 Capital video on the channel anyway. But yeah, thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next video.